Welcome to What's Going On, the weekly podcast and videocast of First United Methodist Church in Yankton, South Dakota. Hi, and welcome to this week's episode of What's Going On. I'm Pastor Katie here at First United Methodist Church in Yankton, South Dakota. And this is sort of a special episode in that this will be the last one before this podcast will take a brief hiatus for a couple of months while I'm on maternity leave. And so what I thought I would do today is just kind of go through what we have going on in the church to remind you that I am not the church. You are the church. The church is going to continue functioning and doing its ministry and having its mission while I am out for a little while, adjusting to having another baby in my life. But again, I just want you to hear that over and over again. The church is not going to be on hiatus. We are not closed down. We are continuing on with all that we are doing. I'm just one person. And if everything falls apart without me, then I've done a terrible job so far at being your pastor, because really the church is about all of us together and about the work that we do together. And so I want to kind of kick that off with the leadership team. This past Sunday, we commissioned our leadership team, and they have and they've met now. As you are watching this, they've met now for their first meeting. I'm recording it prior to that meeting, so I can't tell you anything about it because I don't know yet. But I just want to say how fortunate we are to have such committed and wonderful people who are stepping into these roles. And there's a lot of logistics, even as we've been prepping for this first meeting, things that we're realizing we're going to have to relook at, and policies that we need to adjust, and things like that. This first year, there's going to be just a lot of adjustments, and that's totally okay, and that's totally normal. But I also think that's going to get done, which is something that over the past 2 years, we've been, in a lot of ways, there's a lot of changes that we've made, but there's a lot of things we haven't changed or haven't addressed or haven't finished, and it's so much of that has to do with COVID, unfortunately, and so much that has to do with capacity and burnout and things like that. I feel like we are moving and we're stepping into 2022 as a new year. Is COVID still everywhere? Yes. But we know more about it now than we did before. We are doing what we can to keep you as safe as we can. And we're figuring out how to be the church in the midst of this. This is our reality right now, and church at its best should always meet us in our reality. And so I'm not going to wait for normal to return, because I don't really know what that even looks like, for us to figure out who we are and what we're about. And so I'm excited for this leadership team, for the work that they have ahead of them. I feel like it's good work. It's just going to continue to serve the church and help us to be who we are destined to be. And so I'm excited about that. You've heard me talk in the last few weeks as well about my conviction of going along with my star word of service, that this year is really a year of putting our mission first and foremost in the church. And that's one of the things that I think this church has a heart and a compassion for a lot of things. And I'll talk about that in a moment, but I think one of the big ones is mission. It's making a difference in the lives of people. It's looking beyond our walls and our doors and really trying to make a difference in the world. That's part of why we exist. And so I'm really excited that Loads of Love is kicked off this week, and really, really excited about having Julie Moderager. You might have noticed as we've been going through, as the announcements scroll before service, that you've seen her photo up with a new title. Julie's been on staff for a while as our Kids Hope director, but since I've been here, Kids Hope has not been able to be in the schools. And so she's been kind of plugging in different ways. Well, when we moved to this new structure, one of the areas that we didn't really have staff oversight was for our parish care and outreach and missions. One group handled our member care, our outreach, and our missions. It was a lot. And one of the things that we looked at doing was wanting to shift Julie's role in that group. She was in that part of that group in her role for Kids Hope. But we decided through the work of the SPRC to shift her role to become the coordinator for that. And so this Loads of Love, and she kind of got her feet wet in with the banquet at the end of December. But really that job took effect January 1st, and Loads of Love is kind of our first big mission project under her direction. And I'm super excited. She's wonderful. If you have mission outreach ideas, member care ideas, ways that maybe you want to help get involved with reaching new people for Christ, or also making sure that none of our members are being left behind, she's the person to talk to, and she's amazing. Speaking of another mission opportunity that we have this month, starting this Sunday, you can pick up a baby bottle from Zoe Care and fill that baby bottle with change, with cash, with whatever, and bring it back in February. And that's going to go to the nonprofit Zoe Care. We had them come last year in January. At that time, they were called the Missouri Valley Pregnancy Resource Center. And I joked on the podcast with the director, Rachel, that maybe they should consider finding a shorter name. And they did. It's called Zoe Care now. And so those bottles will be available for you to pick up and fill up with change and bring those back toward the end of February. We'll have more information on that available to you, but just know that that's coming, that you can pick those up this week. And what Zoe Care does is it helps women in particular who are having unplanned pregnancies, helping them know that they are not alone, giving them resources and support that they need, helping them with education and different things. So they are doing some really good work, and so we're happy to support them. So that's another mission opportunity that's happening in the life of the church. This coming Sunday, the 23rd, so you can pick up your baby bottle, but also it'll be our values workshop that afternoon at 2:30 here in the church with our DS, Rebecca Trebs. You've kind of heard me talk a little bit about our weekly email that goes out on Fridays, had a link in there about doing a little pre-work, a little reflection. Whether or not you plan to attend, we would like for you to fill that out. If you're planning to attend, fill it out ahead of time. If you're not planning to attend, fill it out ahead of time. We've been trying to put it kind of everywhere we can think to put it, the links for that. And the reason for that is, even if you're unable to attend the workshop, which if you are able to attend, we definitely want you to, but we know that the variety of reasons can come up. But we definitely want to hear your voice and hear your input. You are a part of this church. And really what this values workshop is doing is looking at who are we as a church. Every church has a different personality. Every church has a different way of being, and has different passions and different opportunities for ministry. And we want to see where we are right now with the composition of people that we have that make up our community of faith. Where are our passions? Where are our values? What are the things that matter the most, so that when we're making decisions about what to invest our time and our energy and our resources in, that we are aligning that with what our stated values are. And so it's really important to me that we have kind of every demographic represented, that we hear from everybody, that we hear all those voices, because the church is not just the staff, the church is not just the leadership team, the church is not just this person or that person, it's all of us together. And so please, if you're able to fill that out, I will, we'll try to put the link for those things below in this podcast as well, so you can find it from here, and you can pause this right now and go and do that, and then come back. So pause. All right. So that's Sunday afternoon at 2:30. Rebecca will be taking that information and leading us through a process to help us kind of know who we are. And then that will be the end of my, I will begin maternity leave on the 24th of January. I'm currently scheduled to have this baby on the 25th, and so taking the 24th to just get prepared, and I will be out for 2 months. I will come back. My first Sunday back will be April 3rd. And so I just want to talk a little bit about what that looks like. I've been through 2 maternity leaves in a church, but most of you have not. And so, I want to kind of touch on what are probably your big questions, and do the best I can with that. So each Sunday we're going to be having worship like we always do. And we have different people that are coming in to share the sermon. And we sent out a letter that had little bios for everybody that was coming. Some should be familiar to you. Edie Broadbent was here this fall. Carl Watkins worships here. And so we have some of those familiar faces. The other 2 that are coming from Dakota Wesleyan University in Mitchell. One is Dr. Joel Allen, and the other is Reverend Eric Van Meter. Dr. Allen is the head of the religious department at Dakota Wesleyan, and Eric is the campus pastor who also does some teaching. They are wonderfully kind and gracious people who I've known for a long time. I served in Mitchell for a while, and so they were kind of my peers there. So I'm excited about that. So worship is going to be great. The only thing that's really changing is that instead of having to hear me every week, you get to have a variety of voices speak into you and give you love and grace and peace. And we have different members of our church community who will be serving as worship leaders as well. So there will be an element of familiar faces and familiar voices for that as well. Our music, everything, all of that is going to stay the same. So that Sundays are basically going to look the same, just without my face or my voice, which again, might be a welcome break. And that's totally okay, but you also don't need to tell me that. Looking at kind of throughout the week and different things, confirmation is something that I teach. Diane Kish is going to be taking that over during the time that I am gone. So if you have students in confirmation, they will still be having confirmation every Wednesday night until I get back, and they have their projects and their memory work to be working on. So that doesn't change at all. Leadership team is going to be handling the administrative functions of the church as a leadership team is designed to do. And so they will be holding meetings and things. Again, I'm just one person. I don't even have vote in that group. And so again, not changing a whole lot there. And then the rest of our groups are covered by staff. And so they will be leading in those education, technology Tiffany is handling. We've got Julie doing the missions and the outreach, and we've got our music staff that are taking care of their things. Like, things are going to be just fine and very familiar. If you have prayer requests, if you have something that you'd like put in the bulletin, all of those things go to Lisa in the office. She will send out that prayer chain for you. If you have someone or you yourself are going to be in the hospital for a procedure or surgery, and you would like a blessing or a visit, we have a parish nurse. We are so blessed. This is the first church that I've ever been in that's had a parish nurse. And part of what she does is visit you in your times of need. And because she has a nursing background, she is way more knowledgeable about what you're going through than I ever am when I am there, but she is there for you. And so you can either contact her directly, Susan Thorson, or contact the church, and we'll let her know what's going on. If for some reason you have a loss in your family, here or in our church family, if there's a loss, Reverend Carl and Joe Watkins will be covering any funerals while I'm gone. It's a hard thing to not be available for those. Know that I love and care for you deeply, but also I will be recovering from my own surgery, and so need to really honor that time for myself. for myself as well. If there's things that come up that you're just not sure, always just start with talking to the church office. If it's really something that they don't know, they know how to get a hold of me. But for the time being, this is our time to kind of take a little step away, focus on our family, for me to focus on healing, and then to come back strong. Again, I will be back before Easter. We won't be doing Lenten services. We will have an Ash Wednesday service, so you can count on that in March. It's not until March, which seems really far away. And so I am confident that this church is going to be thriving without me around. Not to say that that I don't contribute when I'm here, but it is my hope that that this can be a time where you really step up into those roles that God has called you to, use those gifts that God has blessed you with. We want to see people greeting, we want to see people ushering, we want to see people filling in all these little roles that are often left open. And this is a great opportunity for the church to step up and be the church. Again, I am not the church. This building is not the church. You are the church. And so how can you make this time a very special time in the life of the church, where you're really owning what God is asking you to do and taking responsibility and really giving back to God and honoring God and the kingdom of God with your gifts and your talents. And so that is kind of what I have for you today. I hope that you all are doing well. Hopefully I'll see you this Sunday in worship and at the values workshop, but if not, we hope to see you turn those reflections in prior to that time. And until then, God bless you all. Thank you. You will be hearing, we will have the church send out, once the baby is born, we'll have the church send out a little announcement so you can all find out and meet our little one when that time comes. And so don't worry, we won't leave you hanging there. But yeah, so I'll sign off for the next couple of months, and we'll see you again in April. Thank you for joining us on this episode of What's Going On, a video and audio podcast of First United Methodist Church in Yankton, South Dakota. We'd love to have you join us for worship on Sundays, and we have two options available. 9 a.m. is our contemporary service, and 10:30 a.m. is our traditional service. You can find those online as well at our website, www.firstumcyankton.org, or on YouTube.